What are the other characters like in the world of Shadybug and Claw Noir? If there's a character from Miraculous who knows how to be mysterious in all possible universes, it's Mama Agresti. In this alternate universe, I'm starting to think she didn't die the same way as the original Emily. Some people notice drops of blood splattering in the opening scene where she appears dead, holding the peacock Miraculous. Of course, it could just be to add a more dramatic tone, but it's possible her death was much more brutal. It's possible that she was actually killed by the Supreme himself. But what if it's none of that? Think about it, if Reverse Gabriel managed to obtain the butterfly Miraculous because he worked for the Supreme, then Emily could have obtained the peacock because she also worked for him. And did she enjoy that job? Imagine if in a continuation of this story, we find out that Emily is alive and even more villainous than ever, and that it was actually Amelie who died in her place, like a good twin and an evil twin, akin to Paulina and Paula from Ursula. I won't deny that I would love to see Emily's transformation with the peacock Miraculous at least once. If you also want to see this happen, drop a like now. Speaking of a character who might not be so beloved in the alternate Paris, we have the journalist Nad Chamak. In this world, the reporter could very well accept to serve the interests of the Supreme in exchange for all the fame and recognition she's always wanted. Reverse Nadia could be the holder of the Fox Miraculous and would use the power of illusion to distort all news, which would be quite easy to do since no one in that place knows about the Miraculous yet. The liar would spread all sorts of fake news to break audience records and would do everything in her power to help the Supreme clean up his image and refute any rumors about him being a villain. Someone else who would play an important role in manipulating the media would be the famous film director André Bourgeois. Since in this universe he didn't have a crazy wife to push him into politics, he could dedicate himself entirely to his dream of directing films. But like our original André, this one also loves having his pockets lined. The Supreme could sponsor André's projects in exchange for this. The sellout would produce films telling a completely false story about his origin, painting his team of rogue Miraculous holders as heroic protectors and good guys, of course, hiding all the explanation about the Miraculous that the villain doesn't want anyone to know. Moving on to Marinette's school, it could be dominated by the twins, with Fair as the versions of Julika and Luca in this universe. They could have grown up knowing they are Jack's children and would live as celebrities, the most popular kids in school. While Luca would be the biggest playboy pretending to be rich, Julika would be the biggest spoiled brat, akin to Chloe Bourgeois, and they would both humiliate the less fortunate while traveling around doing their shows. Speaking of the blonde, Reverse Chloe isn't all that different from the original version, right? Imagine if every Chloe in the multiverse is as bad as the one we know. The one in this reality might even be worse because, unlike in the world of Ladybug and Cat Noir where there are several good people around her trying to contain her evil, in the inverted universe, being bad is common, which ends up being an incentive for those who are already not good to become someone even worse. Chloe's negativity could have impressed the Supreme to the point where she was chosen as one of his bearers, which would be a nice farewell gift for the widowers, I mean, for Queen Bee's fans. Changing the subject a bit, you know something I noticed in Miraculous World, Paris? The equipment that Asperia, Ala'i, and Nino were using to detect the signal from the original universe's news seemed too technological for any of them to have developed. That's why I think many devices like Max's AI and Markov may have been invented by Tomo Tsurugi Reverse, who in this world would have a few more screws in her head and slightly better ideas on how to make the world a better place. This version of Tomo would be the scientist of the resistance and would create all sorts of gadgets to help her allies escape the clutches of the Supreme. And I think it's worth talking about her now, Sabine Reverse. Eminent didn't say anything very specific about her mother, but with the way she reacted, the original Sabine seemed to imply that in her universe, their relationship is terrible. When the woman heard the noises in the room and went to check if everything was okay, Marinette Reverse was really mean to her, and it's quite likely that she reacted that way because she's always fighting with her mother. Sabine Reverse could be a horrible woman who hates the life she has and regrets leaving her family behind to become the baker's wife, taking out all her bitterness on her own daughter, which contributes to her rebellious personality. Shadybug said outright that she doesn't have a cool mom waiting for her, so maybe it was so hard to deal with Chloe's bullying. But now I want to know your theories. Tell me in the comments which other reverse versions of the miraculous characters you'd like to see in a future continuation and what their personalities would be like. Thank you so much for sticking around, and don't forget to leave your like. Your comment is very important to the miraculous community. Also, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos.